So I thought it was about time I did a bit of an update on all the mods that I've done and how they lasted. So Prado 2021 model, so I've had it for over 3 years now, 3.5 years. Done a few mods, so did they last? What would I change? What would I do differently? So this is a GXL model, not high mileage, so I think we're about 50,000. So use it mainly for getting to work, but then go on occasional long trips. So I've done some long off-road trips, a few long tracks and whatever. So we live out the vehicle. I don't tow anything, so it's just the family, or me and the kids, and that's it. So no towing, so everything has to go with us in the vehicle. Anyway, enough of that. So let's start with the front lights. So started with the spotlights. These are steady spotlights, but actually found that I never really use the spotlights. I do try not to drive after dark. So eventually I actually put in a light bar. I didn't have a light bar at first, and actually I use the light bar quite a bit now, because I live a little bit off the beaten track. But the spotlights just had too much distance, not really practical in bendy roads where I wanted to really light up the road, because I have a lot of kangaroos and things around. So the light bar was much better. As I said, yeah, you probably wouldn't even do spotlights in the future. Just a light bar is probably enough for most people, honestly. Spotlights go far too far down the road, no need for that. And these are the smaller ones. These are the smaller steady spotlights. Anyway, that's a winch. Yeah, look, I've never used the winch. It's more of an insurance, because I often go on my own off-road, so no one else with me. Would I do a winch again? Yeah, possibly. But one of the things I have got on it, this is actually you can't really see it in there, but this is actually a steel cabled winch. That was on the recommendation when I had it put on by the fitters. Yeah, not totally convinced of that. It just adds weight. I've already got it in mind to replace the rope, put in a rope there to lighten the weight on the front. Do want it as an insurance though, so it is good to have it for that reason. Let's talk a little bit about wheels and tyres. Stuck with obviously the 17-inch rims. Went for the BFG KO2s. Not particularly impressed with the wear on them, in that had them, what, 40,000? I reckon might get 45,000 out of them. Some of the ones already been replaced, the others are probably pretty close. So what, 45,000 Ks out of KO2s. No, I had hoped to get a bit more than that. Anyway, so these are I went to 265 70 R17, so just up one size. Glad I didn't go any bigger. Don't need to. They do the job. I've been happy with them from a driving perspective. Not particularly noisy, not particularly quiet, but yeah, they've done alright. Not for sure I would actually want to stick with KO2s, honestly. Might want to think about something else, but whatever. Anyway, suspension, yeah, 2-inch lift, old man Emu. Again, if I did it again, probably think of something different. But it's really hard, isn't it, for those of us that do a little bit of off-roading, and when I'm really loaded up on the vehicle, I do need to think about the loading at maximum weight, and then driving around town quite a bit. So it's difficult. Not sure what I would do if I did it again. But I said suspension, really you can't really test it before you put it on. It's a lot of roll in it, but I guess that's what happens once you have a lift. Anyway, excuse me, it does what it does. So also on the top and outside we've got the snorkel. That was the Toyota snorkel. As I said in one of my original videos, that choice was made because I had that from when I bought the vehicle. I got them to put it on. It wasn't much more than an aftermarket, so I thought, why not? Not sure much to say about it. Roof rack. So this is a Tracklander roof rack, and I've been really happy with this roof rack. So and I've had this roof rack on literally from almost day one. and it is the life soul of everything that we do, because I have to put everything on the roof, and we move it around all the time. So this is a mesh rack. I'll take you up, have a look at it. So this is a mesh type rack, full length, full width, and this has been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I've loved this. You can hook stuff on and off, you don't have to pay for expensive brackets. Move stuff around, you know, pack it one way when you drive to camp, and then pack it again in a different way whilst you're at camp, using bungee cords and straps. Yes, it takes a bit longer to load, but I tell you what, the flexibility has been awesome. Absolutely rigid, really happy with it. It is an aluminium rack, so it still is reasonable weight. Can't remember off the top of my head. I think this was the TRL 22, something like that. I've done another video on it anyway. It's been really good. It comes with the wind deflector at the front there. I have to say, no noise at all. Been brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I don't even know it's there most of the time. And I did a trip recently with it, nothing on the roof, obviously with these tires and the bull bar at the front, and fuel economy, if you can get it right down, I can get it down to about 9, so you know, it doesn't add much drag. It's been really good. As I said, nothing's come loose. I fitted it myself, so been very happy with it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Whilst we're on the roof, I put my antenna here. This is an Oricom antenna bracket. So that enables you to obviously lift up the antenna when you need it. Just pull it out and push it up. Again, I hardly use my UHF. It's one of those sort of things nice to have if you've got it. Have used it a couple of times, so I've been really glad it's been there. Most of the time it sits in this down position because I just can't be bothered. Would I do it again? Would I have a UHF? Possibly not. You know, maybe I'd just get a really, 5-watt handheld if I really wanted to, because I don't use it for much. Sometimes the kids have handhelds, small handhelds, and I might use it for that when they're at a campsite, but I don't really use it. May not do a UHF again if I had the choice. As I said, a couple of other things on the outside and on the roof. I use these brackets for the awning. These have been fantastic, absolutely fantastic. They're fantastic from a point of view that I'm not carrying the bloody awning around all day long, every day and everywhere I go. I rarely use the awning. I did use it recently, but you know, it might sit on the top there for a few days on a trip, or a week on a trip, and then I take it off. So most of my life it sits in the garage. Actually, I've got another pair of these where you mount it to the wall in the garage and then just put it on there. Absolutely fantastic from that point of view. What's the point of driving around in the sun with an awning on the roof, just cooking in the sun, if you hardly ever use it? I'm always amazed that so many people love to have an awning stuck to their roof permanently. How often do they actually use it? Well, you tell me. Anyway, personally, I don't use an awning very often, and even then, you know, even on trips, sometimes I don't even take it with, depending where I'm going and what I'm doing, especially in the winter. It doesn't come with. Also, lights up here, again, steady. These are the amber ones. I've been really happy with these. Put one on the side, obviously for camping. There's another one on the rear, so up on the rear there. Really happy with those lights. I've got videos on my lights, and they've been really good. Very pleased with those. Amber light, and able to light around the campsite when you pull up a bit late and need to put up stuff at night. Obviously if the awning was on, this one wouldn't work, but because, as I said, I don't use the awning very often, I actually decided to put a light on this side, and that's been good. Moving down to the rear, obviously I removed the tyre cover. Complete waste of weight and effort, so I got rid of that. Much better without it. And actually I strap a garbage bag to the tyre. Also my recovery tracks, I strap them as well to the tyre. I've done a couple of videos on a strapping system I made for that. Works nicely. Down the bottom, obviously, tow bar. I did say I don't tow, and I don't tow. I might have towed the trailer once for moving a piece of furniture. That's about as much as I've got out of it. I do use it more often for a bike rack. Kids' bikes, my bike, put on the back there. So that's been quite nice. So inside at the back, it's a bit of a mess probably today, I'm afraid, but ignore the crap. The only things I would say is Bushman fridge. So I keep that in the car now, because during the summer hot months, I use that quite a lot. If I go shopping and I'm not going back home in a while, it's nice to have fridge slash freezer in there, and I just turn it on and off and when I need it. I'll come to the dual battery system in a minute, but it's nice to have something small like this in the car all the time. It's still got space for other stuff, and unfortunately, yes, there's crap in here at the moment. But it's really practical to have a little fridge in the car permanently. Bushman's really good. The other thing I found is, you know, especially I've got a lithium battery setup. It's good to, keep, discharging the battery rather than just not use it for a month or 2 or 3 or even 4. So this keeps the, keep using the battery, and why not? I've got the system there, might as well use it. Yeah, excuse the rag in it, it's actually just stopping it seal up because it's not on at the moment, just helping it vent out a bit. Also in the back, a couple of good things that I did. Can't really see it at the top here, but I put in a little extra light here. This is a little steady spotlight. That's been really good since I had it. All my switching's over on this side. Again, that's been brilliant. That's lasted. That was a cheap Amazon unit. That's been really good, and that obviously does my side lights, rear light, the light I've just shown you. It also does a couple of connections, Anderson plugs, so I've got one here and one on the rear bar as well, and they are for external lights and stuff that if I need to connect to. Yeah, that's been really good. I'm very happy with that one. The only other thing I've done, and I did a mod on this, and I haven't really finished it yet, because the little bracket here is a temporary one, but like all good temporary things, they just stay with you until you really get around to it. Yeah, look, it's got a bit scratched and whatever. That's because I use the stuff. No point, looking perfect, is it? Anyway, this is a little table I made. This has been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Just pulls down like that. There is a video on that. I'll try and put a link to that in the description, but otherwise go onto my channel and you'll find links on all this stuff, and see what I did. This has been brilliant. Did it more recently, and I find this really useful because, again, space is limited. Yes, because when the back is full, everything's rubbing up against the back door, but you know what I've said, it's a few years old, the vehicle now, so it will get scratched and marked. Also, whilst we're in the back, on the back door, I've got these snap shades. These are just a unit that you just clip in and out. Very quick and simple to take on and off. They're really good, excellent actually, really good quality, built for the vehicle. Very happy with them. They're just very expensive, but you get what you pay for, but they are good. I do also use them on the, sorry about the sun, I do use them on the portholes at the back, as well as the second row seats. Again, very good for taking in and out quickly. When we're camping, I generally put a total block out on the portholes and the rear door because the back's loaded up and the big fridge is in. But anyway, I can recommend them, and I've been very happy with them, but they are not cheap, as I said. Alright, and then we've obviously got the bracket for the K-on grill that goes between the seats. No idea what you call it at the moment. Stop the stuff flying forward and whatever. That's been good. I'm glad I put that in when we go away. I went many years or a couple of years without it, but it's hard to pack full, and it's good because you can velcro stuff to it and put fishing rods against it and things like that. Anyway, K-on grill, that's been really good in there. One thing I didn't say whilst I was in the back was I converted my fridge connections to Anderson. They come with them, all come with his cigarette plug on it. Bloody useless because those cigarette things come loose. So quick tip, convert your fridges and your connections to Anderson. So much better than the cigarette ones. Couple of mods and things I did in the second row. First of all, fire extinguisher. So this was a little idea I came up with, and again I've done a video on this bracket. I really thought there must be a way of keeping the fire extinguisher out of the way here, not under the driver's seat. Made my own bracket. Wasn't sure how well this would last, but it hasn't come loose. It's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's actually fixed into there's a couple of bolts underneath this plastic piece, and I made a bracket that fits under there and then holds it up. It's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It hasn't come loose. Anyway, video on that if you want to see it. But that's probably one of the best little mods I've done. I like the rear table one. That's one of my favorite in the door. And this is probably one of my favorites too. And as I said, been really good. Video in my video list. The other thing, whilst we're in here, seat covers. So, you know, obviously you want to protect your seats. These are the Supertrim neoprene seat covers. I've been really happy with these, really happy. I've taken them off and washed them fully once in 3.5 years. I've got 2 children. We've had chocolate and all sorts of stuff all over them. It's you can wipe them with a wet cloth very easily and just wash it off without removing them. Obviously you can take them right off and then give them a proper wash. Mainly did that because they got very dusty after some trips, but been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Went for the full set. And they allow you to move the seats. In the 150 Prado, the seats move forward a couple of positions, and you can actually move them independently, so they're split here as well. The newer 250 doesn't have that moving seats, which is one of my challenges with the 250, because one of the other things little tip or mod that I did was I got a slimline fuel tank which goes behind the seats. So you move the seats forward one position, and I can drop a 42 litre thin slimline 40 litre tank down behind the seats. That is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It gets me 42 litres of water, and I don't lose any space effectively. Kids are okay with the seats moving forward to the first position, or what we call the middle position. They've still got enough room for their legs. That works brilliantly. Very, very happy with that. Moving into the front, I thought I'd just show you the seats. So I haven't tried to adjust this at all recently, but you can see it's moved a bit. So every now and then, because I use this all the time and get in and out all the time, I have to readjust this seat. But it's really only the bottom bit. And this is the driver's seat, so I use this obviously all the time. Wear and tear is not really showing any obvious wear and tear on the seat cover. As I said, just a slight movement which it needs straightening out from time to time. So very happy with the quality of the Supertrim seat covers. The middle armrest for some reason has got scuffed a bit. Might have something to do with the fact that my children stand on it, or my son does anyway, or tries to stand on it, climb on it. Anyway, that's probably a simple thing if I wanted to replace just that one, because you buy it separately. But still, very glad I put that on. I didn't actually put it on at the very beginning, but then once I got the others, I decided that it would be good to have, so chucked it in as well. Also, whilst we're in here, I've got the Max Pro mats. Brilliant, again, absolutely brilliant. Molded to the seat. They cover this gap here and then go very high up the back there. Really good, very happy with these. It makes it so much easier to clean. I just wish somebody would sort this piece out down here now, because you just get crap in there. I didn't show you in the second row. I'll show you now if you like. So the second row, just move my crap out of the way, and you'll see the second row, they go over the center here, and there's one piece all the way across, and that's really nice. So it keeps the crap going and the dirt and dust and sand going underneath everywhere. Really good, very happy with that. Back into the front. Okay, so some of the good things that I've done, and some of the things that probably wouldn't do again. So let's have a look here. So one of the first things I tried to put on was this is a rear camera. So when my back is loaded up, I've got total, I can't see out the rear window. I thought, wouldn't it be nice, and I usually got things like max tracks and stuff on the rear tire, so the rear camera, when I stick it in reverse, doesn't work, or I can't see out of it. So I put in an extra camera, and it gets in the middle of the rear window at the top. Didn't show you I was back there, sorry, but it's a little rear camera. Nah, not really worth it. I've only again used it once or twice. It's probably wouldn't do it again. Not worth the effort. The vision is not great. I know you can do things now that integrate with the system here. I'd probably do that instead in future. Anyway, so that's that. So yeah, that's a won't do again. As I said, UHF is here. Possibly wouldn't bother in future. I like it here. You know, I know I don't use it, and probably better tuck it away. It's good to have it here. It's convenient. I'm not bothered with it being sitting right here. It doesn't get in the way. Didn't want to stuff it under the dash. You know, I want to be able to get at it. That's anyway, that's where it sits. Maybe, yeah, anyway, that's what it is. All right, so one of the best things I did, and probably one of the cheapest mods you can do, is one of these throttle controllers. 2.8 diesel, quite a bit of lag in it, as I'm sure most of you know. It's been brilliant. As I said, not that expensive, 100 and whatever, 100-ish. It's a very quick DIY, you know, any idiot could connect it up. I've done a video on it, of course, like everything else, but it's really great because you know, you can change the level of performance. I usually have it set on 4, not the highest rating in terms of performance, and then obviously you can tune it down the other way when you're doing different stuff off-road. You know, on sensitive ground, you don't want it to be that sensitive anymore. You can turn it down or just turn it off. Been really good. Very happy with it. It did malfunction once, caused me an engine issue light. I diagnosed that actually it was getting an unusual signal from the throttle controller, so obviously just unplugged it, restarted the car, and then plugged it back in again, and all was good. So that was that. Whilst we're in here, obviously a few light switch modifications. Obviously light bars on here, okay, and spotlights are here. So just use the inbuilt switches here. But yeah, as I said about the lights earlier, they're there and all's good. The other thing whilst we're in here, the only other really annoying thing on the Prado is you only get this one USB here, so obviously fitted a few more. There's an extra one here, and this is the seat heating section blanking plate, because the GXL, it doesn't have them. Didn't have that part added. So put in a USB here. Yeah, it does its job. Double USB there. I've also got more USB under here. There's another USB here. That's usually for my tablet. So I have a tablet that sits on here for my maps. This is a magic mount. I've been really happy with these. I use that one there for a tablet, and then I've got another one here for my phone. I find that the tablet one is brilliant because it's just in the right place. I used one of these blanking discs, and then you can see it there, and then the suction on there, so the disc is stuck on the top there. It's the only way to get a decent bit of suction. The really good thing about where this is that you've got the air vent right behind it, so that on a hot day and you've got the aircon running, you've got cold air blowing to the back of the tablet. That has been brilliant, because without that, I've realized it would have got too hot up here and you'd have to move it out the sun. So that is a bit of a tip there. Don't put something up here in the sun unless you can keep it cool. That said, I do have an issue with my phone. So when my phone is sitting here and the sun's in the right direction, not very often, it can get too hot sitting here. It's not too bad though with the phone, but that is certainly something, and I might consider taking my phone away from here, moving it somewhere else, but I don't need to use my phone when it's up here, or even really see it, obviously, because I've got Android Auto. But where else do you put it? You know, there's not a lot of space to put the phone, and now especially as I've got my UHF down here, maybe I should have put it here. Although the fascia is not square, so it's actually would be quite difficult to put it here. But anyway, might have to think about that for the future. So that's about it from inside. Don't need to do much more. I'm very happy with the mods that I've done. As I said, a couple of things I probably wouldn't do again, as I mentioned, but most of them I've been really happy, and they've all lasted. You know, the camera's still good even though I never use it. The mounts have stayed on. I think I've restuck them, you know, once, additionally once during the time they've been there, which has been pretty good, because normally, as you know, they get hot and fall off. UHF, yeah, as I said. Other than that, there's not much I've really done in here that I regret. Most of the stuff I've been really happy with. So what did I do under the hood? Obviously, dual battery system. I've done quite a lot of videos on dual battery systems, so I'm not going to bore you right now with it. Still needs a little bit of tidying up going on here. Upgraded to lithium. That's been brilliant. More than happy with the lithium. It's certainly worth it, but check it out yourself. Check out your situation. It's still not cheap, but definitely been really happy with it. The other thing I did under here with the dual battery system was try to put in a charge back system, and you can see I've still got a fuse there for it. And as I said in one of my other videos, yeah, probably wouldn't do that again. That was a waste of time and money. So what a chargeback system was, that when I was camping, I found that my starter battery started to lose voltage. So I put in a system that with the solar was charging here, once this battery was full, it would send power back automatically to the starter battery. But it just was all too complicated. With relays and solenoids, and there is a solenoid sitting in here. I don't know if you can see it down, it's actually down there, an SBI 12 solenoid, more money, more cabling, and that was all part of the feedback to the starter battery. So no, wouldn't do that again. Do what I originally did, was just disconnect the solar from here and clip it onto the starter battery if needs be. But one big tip that I did find in all of this, and I've talked about it at great lengths in my battery videos, is that I've put in a manual isolator on my starter battery, between my starter battery and my BCDC, which sits down in here. There's my BCDC. So that disconnects my BCDC when I'm not using it, like at the moment. It's switched in the off position. The reason for that was that I discovered that the BCDC will continue to draw down voltage just after you switch the engine off, and it does so for about 30 seconds initially. So when you switch off the engine, because the voltage is still floating higher here at the starter battery, the BCDC keeps drawing down 25 amps if it needs it for the auxiliary battery, and it will pull down on it. I also discovered that when you're camping over several days, there's a very slow draw through the BCDC on the starter battery. Very small, but several days, you know, with doors opening and closing, interior lights going on, I started to find that my starter battery was losing voltage. And that was really why I put in the chargeback system, to keep boosting it. Right, I'm trying to overcome the problem rather than fix the problem. Anyway, long story short, I worked it all out, that it actually better off just when I get to a campsite, just isolate this if I'm not using the car. Yes, you got to remember to put it back when you start driving. I get it. That's painful because sometimes I forget and then have to pull over and switch it over. But that's a mistake I made. Lessons learned. Keep it simple, keep it manual, and you'll be all good. The only other thing under the hood is my compressor. So I've got the ARB compressor sitting under here. There's lots of videos on getting the compressor in on a Prado. Really tough to get it in there, but it's well worth having it there and out the way. I do use it quite a bit, and that's my only negative on the compressor, is that it's not powerful enough on if you drop your tires down to 15 psi. You're on the beach doing sand driving, which is what I do, and then you want to pump it back up to 40. You've got 4 tires to pump up off this little compressor. It's going to take some time, and I'm saying, you know, you need about 15 to 20 minutes to pump all 4 tires back up off this compressor. So that's my negative. If I could do it again, I would put in a more powerful compressor, possibly somewhere else. But you know what, I don't do it every day, so I just got to suffer the 20 minutes to do that. Otherwise, under the hood, I've done absolutely nothing. Nope, no catch cans, nothing else like that, because there are lots of pros and cons of that, and people talk about that. I'm not interested in it. I don't need it. I'm still under warranty as best I can, but as I said, warranty, well, let's just say I've not needed it, because most of the mods I've done have probably voided my warranty anyway. But I've been very happy with the engine, very happy with the car, and yep, that's about it from under here. So to sum it all up, nothing major that I got wrong, you know, few things that I wouldn't do again, as I said in the video. Would I do anything new now? There's not much I want to do anymore, honestly. I've got to replace tires pretty soon. But in terms of mods, I did want to change, as I said, the winch rope, but again, that's not urgent either. So nothing really new. I'm very happy with everything that's on it. Nothing that's on my list to do. What I would say is, you know, we're all different. We've all got different requirements, and we all use the vehicle differently. I would just do a lot of research and a lot of thinking about something before you install it, because you don't want to be ripping it out in 12 months time. Spend your time thinking about it, watching some of the videos that we make and put up to help you guys make decisions about what's involved. So take those and think about it. The new Prado's out. Would I go for the new Prado? If I could afford it. I think that's the first thing, I'll be honest. I can't afford it. Would I? No, I wouldn't. It's a lovely looking car, no doubt about it. I think for me, you know, I do love the dual fuel tanks in this, or the fuel tanks in this, the range that you get. I love the lack of technology, and that's probably the biggest downfall for me on the new one. Too much technology, and even on this one, you know, sometimes I think there's too much technology, even though it's very basic. I would probably go back to something like a 79 where I've got even less technology, and keep it simple. But that's just me. As I said, the new 250 looks amazing, but unfortunately I think it's really built more for, you know, the shopping centre runs, family stuff. I'm sure it is a very capable vehicle, no doubt about it, but I just feel that, as I said, keep it simple when you're out on the track. Anyway, that's enough of me waffling on. It's been a great vehicle. I've really enjoyed it. I will enjoy it for many more years to come. I've been very happy. I'll do more videos on how the build has held up, but I wish you luck, and I hope you enjoy it.